babaguhin natin yung history ng STI sa The Nationals event.
Tingnan mo, nasa loob siya, nasa gitna siya ng base at nasa gitna siya ng third tower. Sinubukan na ng Signal Ultra Wars ang lahat.
Pinaka-lesson talaga sa amin itong player. Na nag-grow kami as a team, as a person, as a player.
Wala, Synchro Vision in. Para dito, of course, kay Jake the Dog. Aztec Creates out. Ayun na nga yung lunok sino with the melee rock. Melee rock.
Depende na lang po sa kalaban. Galing talaga. Ayoko na kasi makalaban ng pinag-gusto ko.
Oh, grabe.
Bakit? Ano yung difference? Ano yung difference, Cartesi?
Wala po, sobrang talino dito.
Oh, grabe.
And now, Kontrolado na ngayon. Ang apat sa side ng Omega. There you go. Cartesi pumasok na naman. 1-on-2. Pero nakatakas pa! The Giant Prodigy is in the house.
Pero kaya agad namin talunin kahit sino makalaban namin. Basta nasa 100% kami.
Paano nila gagawin dito? Paano nila nakawin to? Kamay na Smart Omega Retribution nandun na ba? Hindi. As nila makukuha. It will go to the hands of Smart Omega.
Isang napakainit na hapon sa inyong lahat and welcome to the National Season 2 MLBB Conference, the playoffs presented by Smart 5G. Kami ang magiging casters niyo for the lower bracket finals. My name is Saya and with me is Wolf.
What's up? What's up? Mainit ang naging laban kahapon pero nandito na tayo sa Let's say, and to all of the viewers out there, this is where it all matters. Makikita natin ang lahat ng pinaghandaan ng parehas na team natin.
At yun nga, nabanggit natin sa pre-show kanina na napakaraming pakulo ng ating teams with yesterday's matches. And I'm pretty excited because with the patch changes, it's gonna change everything, including yung pangkaraniwang trend na nakita natin during the previous days. So what do you think is going to happen here?
I think makikita natin yung Smart Omega na siguro baguhin nila ng konti yung kanilang ginawa kahapon. But I think kung may babaguhin man sila, sobrang minor lang. That's also true with LPE Eagles kasi winning formula naman sila. With Omega, more on polish lang dun sa mga ginawa nila na greedy lineup. Alam mo yun, may marksman sa gilid, but I think they still are gonna do it.
Parehas naman nilang pinatunayan na talagang deserve nila to kasi the prize pool here is very high at stake na na-present nga natin during the pre-show earlier. So this is a total prize pool of 1.5 million. The champion's gonna get 700,000, second place 400,000, the third place 250,000 pesos, and of course the fourth one is gonna have 150,000 pesos. So we will be heading on to the match results na nangyari nung ating kahapon, which was December 19th. And yun nga, nakita natin into your screens right now, ladies and gents. Smart Omega getting one and Bren Epo to really lock it all up in a very relaxed position dun sa ating finals. They're having this lineup sa atin namang losers bracket semifinals here. STI Olympians unfortunately did not get a point, and LP Eagles was able to lock down their spot.
Very quick din mga Eagles. Parehas na game sa 12 minutes. Doon sa first series nakita natin ang medyo similar sila. Similar sila gumalaw with Omega and Bren Pro, but Bren Pro eventually winning that 2-1. Meron pang comeback na ginawa yung Bren Pro. But for the side of the Eagles, nakita natin na ang E-Olympians, hindi sila ganoon nagbago or nag-adjust from game 1 heading to game number 2. While yung Eagles, sobrang master lang gusto nilang gawin. They have understood the meta and they're working with it. And that's the reason kung bakit natalo ang STI Olympians with a decisive 2-0.
Oh, and of course, there is still the anonymity coming in sa LPE dahil marami pa sila. I'm pretty sure na pwedeng isabak dito sa ating lower bracket finals kasi you would really want to go ahead and proceed sa ating finals, diba, na naghihintay nga sa kanila ang ating Bren Pro. So, maya-maya makita natin ang team lineups dito for this lower bracket finals. Pero like you said, for LPE first, unahin natin dito kasi as you are very close to this team, no, Wolf? So, you take it away.
Yeah, this is the Eagles with Aspect, Jake the Dog, Arvs, Yaku, Ika, and Bimo. Ang dalawa lang na veteran dito is in Bimo. Yako is 6th man or 7th man. It seems. Wala siya sa top 5. While Bimo naman, siya lang talaga yung veterano sa scene. And everybody else are rookies. And Jake the Dog maybe, pero the rest, this is their new step. Kaya naman, on fire pa rin sila at excited ako na makakita ng kakaiba mula dito sa Eagles ngayon.
Oh, and of course, syempre, to battle it out, they will be facing rather, ang ating Smart Omega dito. Mapapakita natin mamaya ang kanilang lineup. But, ito na nga. It's gonna be Yelly Hayes, Otit, Toshi, Heath, Kenji, Kurtizi, and Hajisi na we have been seeing them quite a while dito sa ating scene and actually almost in major tournaments as well. So in terms of experience talaga, makikita natin dito that Smart Omega has the upper hand, especially with Otit there as well to really guide them with their plays.
Papansin sa Smart Omega, ang ginawa naman nila ngayong conference ay ginamit nila halos lahat except from Otit. Everybody played Smart Omega at Seiya, hindi ang sa roles na nilaro nila. Nagbago-bago din. There was a time where it is sub out. Si Yelly Hayes ay bumalik sa pagiging tank. Na si Kurtizi naging carry na siya, naging side lane na siya, naging support na siya. Kulang na lang talaga maging tank si Kurtizi. Ganun nila iniikot yung kanila lineup. The last time that both of these teams played, it was a 2-1 for the victory for the Eagles. Ang masasabi ko sa series na yun, kasi napanood ko rin naman yun, ay yung Game 2, kung hindi na nagdigi yung Eagles, kayang-kaya nilang i-2-0 yung Omega. Kaso naman, yung time na yun, masasabi ko yung Omega nasa chillax sila eh. Tapos na sila no matter what happens, nung time na nag-meet sila dito, ay hindi na sila matatanggal sa top 1 or dun sa upper bracket. So medyo nag-chill yung Omega. At hindi ko magawang basis na sobra itong series na to, Seiya. But I'm sure that the Eagles are also prepared against the Omega squad.
Syempre, like gaya na sabi, both of our teams have a very interesting mix dito with LPE having the anonymity, and ito naman si Smart Omega with their mix-up sa kanilang mga roles that can really shaken the strategies ng pwedeng ibato ng ating LPE. So right now, we will be heading on later to the head-to-head mamaya. Pero mamaya pa naman yun. And of course, syempre, this is pretty interesting kasi they are really fighting for their spot. And of course, the top picks is gonna be here for LPE. We have the Esmeralda, Lunox, Khalid, Ling, and Forza. And for the band one, it's basically still fundamental na nakita nyo all throughout the days. The Khalid, the Brody, Natalia, Barats, Benedetta, and Hilda.
Actually surprised on how much napili itong Esmeralda. 13 picks for the side of the Eagles. Lunox naman ay isang hero na paborito din ng Eagles, although we might not see this hero. Now, Ling is the highest win rate hero para sa LPE Eagles. However, Ling is not a hero that we might expect today. And not only today, but all throughout the meta game na meron tayo ngayon. Kasi nga naman, dun sa mga nerfs na na-receive ni Ling, baka naman talaga hindi na siya mapili.
And of course, we will be seeing now the top picks for Smart Omega right here dito. No? Still having that Ling, Obaksha, Hilda, Lancelot, and Bruno. Ling being chosen 8 times here with a 75% win rate. At yung most band naman nila still similar. We have Selena, Jawhead, Esmeralda, Hilda, Brody, Barats, and the Farsa.
Kakaiba, no? Ang daming plethora ng heroes na binaban against the team. And I'm actually surprised, and this might be the only case na top pick si Bruno for Smart Omega. They might be the only team that puts a lot of emphasis dito sa ating Bruno even before the meta game that we have right now. Kasi ngayon, sa meta natin, Seiya and the viewers out there, Bruno is a valid pick. Ibig sabihin, pinipick talaga siya doon sa side lanes. Dati naman yung SMO, bago pa ma-puff itong si Bruno, nagamit na nila. So, interestingly, and I'm sure that SMO will consider this, Bruno is a top pick for this particular series against
which is highly baka maban din naman to ng LPE para mamaya. No? And of course, it's going to be
That's
the
awesome.
head-to-head comparison here for both of our teams with the win-loss here of each of our teams. 13-10 for LPE. Average win time is 16 minutes. Average KDA is 2.68. GPM is 2,979. 32 secured turtles, 15 lord secured, and of course, for Smart Omega naman dito, they have a higher win-loss, which is a 16-7, and a shorter average win time here, which is 14 minutes. Average KDA nila is also higher dahil nakita naman natin that they were sitting really pretty onto the top spots ng ating charts with a 3.99. Average GPM is 3,000. 21 secured turtles and lords with a tower of 146. So basically, I think ang gameplay talaga ng SMO dito is tapusin agad eh.
Yeah. No, I think with Smart Omega, sobrang layo nung stats natin. Maraming factors, but I think ang talagang pwede natin sabihin is charge it to experience ng Smart Omega. Alam nila itong ginagawa ng Smart Omega, yung performance, ng Smart Omega with all of these stats, diba? Shorter average win time, maganda yung security nila sa Lord, pati sa turrets na napakaganda compared sa Eagles. This is mainly because of the fact na matagal na silang naglalaro at mastered na nila ang mundo ng Mobile Legends. They also have good coaching staff, nandiyan si Coach Dale. They also have established players na matagal na sila hit. So, talagang lalamang sa stat ng Omega dahil sa tagal nila naglalaro at sa fact na may suporta din ito with their coaching staff.
Oh, syempre, let's head on now to the player comparison for both of our teams. It's going to be Arvs and Yelly Hits, both picking the Lunox right here. So the average KDA for Arvs here is 3.4, 4.6 naman para kay Yelly Hayes. 63% ang average KP percentage niya, and 59 naman para kay Yelly Hayes. Average gold per minute is 521, mas mataas ng kaunti kay Arvs dito in comparison with Yelly Hayes with 519. And syempre, dahil sila nga naman ang ating mage or support nila para sa kanilang team, they also have a similar pool here as well. Pero difference lang is Khalid pwedeng into these side lanes as well.
Masasabi ko naman para sa side ng Eagles ay so si Arvs, maraming beses natin nakita siya nag-activate para sa team at nagbubuhat din talaga on the support role. Di naman talaga nagbubuhat, but he helps his team really get the victory dahil sa kanyang malulupit na galawan with the mage or the mage support or the tank support role. Masasabi ko lang din dito kay Yelly Hayes naman, he's a player na pwede mo talagang asahan almost any kind of game. He knows what he needs to do. Kung ano man yung kailangan niya gawin para sa kanyang team ay gagampanan niya. And he has a lot of heroes. Well, ang dami niyang pwedeng gamitin na heroes. We have to say na isa rin siya sa mga veterans. Hindi lang naman dito sa The Nationals but also the whole of the Mobile Legends scene. So, nakakatawa na siguro kung si Arvs ay idol niya si Yelly Hayes, nako, ito na yung panahon para gusto niya
and of course, having a wide variety of hero pools is also an advantage for the side of Yelly Hayes because they can really be used into its maximum potential. And yun nga with this, without further ado, Wolf, let's head on na to the first game drafting phase natin between Smart Omega and LP Eagles right here. And yan na nga, binungad na nila ang banning natin dito. LPE, banning at Selena and Esmeralda naman para sa Omega.
Wow. Kitang-kita natin kanina, Esmeralda is the priority for the Eagles. Grabe. You can see that Smart. Kaya ako nagulat sobrang basic lang guys ng ban sa Kali. Pero nagulat talaga ako kasi not all teams actually first ban the Kali against Eagles. And Eagles, in fact, ito talaga yung favorite and I would say most comfortable na pick nila because this can be given to Timo and Timo can be a beast with this hero.
Yeah, a very reason din naman. And they respect that. That's their reason. And of course, para naman sa Eagles, they do not really want to get this hindrance na mapunta sa ating Omega. No? So they will be banning out the Jawhead. Na nakita naman natin na talagang ginagamit nila to. At when you say hindrance, and I would dare say it, talagang magbibigay ng hindrance against LPE Eagles dito pag napunta sa kamay nila itong Jawhead, pag napunta sa kamay ng Smart Omega.
And I think ang next priority dito ng pares teams ay ang Brody at ang Benedetta, the two heroes that are really strong in the meta. In fact, Omega, they banned out the Benedetta themselves. Mukhang inaay nila dito ay makuha yung isa dun sa dalawang OP heroes nga natin, which is Brody and Benedetta. This time, since sila mismo yung nag-ban ng Benedetta, they wanna make sure na walang trade-off kapag nakuha nila yung Brody.
Oo, they're basically pressuring or forcing Eagles to ban out either the Brody here kasi they have the first advantage. You know what? Eagles here looking pretty confident in facing that Brody here and they will be banning out the Lapu-Lapu instead.
That's right. See, Lapu-Lapu picked up by the side of Eagles. Instead of the Brody, Cho actually ang inuna dito ng Omega. Nauubos na rin din ang mga valid tanks na meron tayo ngayon. And Cho is definitely a hero na gamit ng Omega, lalong-lalo na kay Heath. Pwede din siyang gamitin ni Hayes kung kailangan nila or the courtesy sa side lanes. Pero syempre, mukhang likely ay magiging tank na ito.
Most likely since they would also really want to win in terms of survivability, prolong it to say the least dito. And I think it is very a nice pick them coming from them. So here naman sa Eagles, they are hovering up the Harriet here. Which is interesting because a double major setup here. So I think the Farsa is going to be the support and the Harriet here is going to be their core.
Yes, most likely. Pero nakakita tayo ng pagkakataon na ang Eagles ay nag-support Harith tapos side lane Farsa. Although, yung setup na sinabi mo, is the simplest one, it could be the case for the Eagles, but we'll see kung ganun nga talaga yung kanilang final decision.
Interesting kasi like Eagles here, yun nga, highlighting their anonymity. Pwede nilang paglaruin din kasi the fact that the versatility of both the Harith and the Farsa, pwede mong pagpalit eh. Pwede mo pagpalit either the Harith can go for the support or the Farsa can go for the core. Either way, so long as it works and it gets the job done, why not? So, para naman sa Omega, they will be having the Yuzhong and the Claude here na nakita naman natin na nagamit yung Claude from the previous matches.
Wow, si Yuzhong sa mga priority ng Smart Omega. Since naban na rin naman ang Lapu-Lapu, nauubusin na rin tayo ng mga good side laners. I think Eagles can consider getting the Thams now or getting something more of a tank. Pwede natin. Actually, di ako magulat kung nag-Sylvana dito ang Eagles. Makes a lot of sense against this Claude. And there it is, yung na-mention natin kanina na Tham. Pwede din ang Eagles.
Yes, I think it would go for the Thams right here talaga for the Eagles. Kasi Sylvana's not bad, but you would really want to have a very solid side lane then. And I think Thams can be a more complementary hero for that. Para naman dito sa ating Eagles, let's see their fan face. So I'm pretty sure it's interesting actually that Brody is not gonna be
your team is banned
and banned for the first side. And Luoyi not gonna be in the board right here as Eagles ban her out. Yun din naman kasi ang kailangan din ng Omega.
It's also a hero na gamit ng Smart Omega. Hayes is marvelous with this hero. Ngayon naman ang Omega, I think they could consider banning out valid tanks that we have right now. You know, Paksha, your Sylvana, I believe, there. Sa Eagles naman, they can also consider banning out another support now since pwede na nga nilang ubusin ng support sa Smart Omega. I'm thinking, actually, Natalia. Hindi nabansin masyado. Ngayon lang nila lumabas. I don't think that Smart Omega are actually considering this. Pero syempre, LPE Eagles, they are gonna err on the side of caution anyways. Okay naman.
Insurance policy. They don't really want to give away the Natalia to Omega. Kahit naman sabihin natin na hindi nila gagamitin ito. But still, for the side of Omega, they can ban out at least another solid offlaner here for their side or another for to the night. Ooh, it looks like they will be banning out the Hilda
Oh.
here. Understandable.
Antax talaga.
Mhm. Understandable. Since the Hilda here, napaka masakit, lalo na in the early game. Pag hinayaan mo siyang mag-roam around of our map here and go for at least taking down one from your turf, pwede niyang abusuhin yung kanyang passive dun sa brushes that kind of gains her
Oh.
HP. But, uy,
Yun na nga.
nakalusot.
They still can consider the side lane na Harith taso rin yung Farsa. I honestly feel that Smart Omega needs to take away Sylvana ngayon. Sobrang ganda ng combo niya with the Eagles. But
Really?
Eagles, they can also consider as a different tank na maganda pang setup. Something like Hilo, something like Belleric, or something... actually, Belleric would be great for Eagles.
If they manage to pick it out.
Yeah, I
Oo.
guess.
Kasi,
For Smart...
like, we've been seeing a lot of interesting heroes that are dished out by our team. So, this is basically a good way. Uy, Veil and Ethan.
Now, Isenshin jungle for Smart Omega. And then Veil is your hero na parang ano siya, it's your wave clear for Omega. Ang Omega, they wanna go really late game ngayon. Siyempre, meron kayong Veil na pang depensa sa lanes. It's also great against the jumps of the Eagles.
Yes.
Good knock-up hero.
Any potential initiation that can come from the Eagles. Pero yun na nga isasabi mo, no, yung Sylvana is gonna be used by the Eagles here. It basically complements as well with the Brody pick. Kasi with the Bismarck of this Brody goes in, locks it down with the help of Sylvana's ult. That could be a very good combo for the Eagles if it manages to really connect.
Yeah. Sylvana, obviously, meron siya nung extra kit na alam natin na pag nagamit niyo yung passive niya, it reduces your magic and the physical defense. Pero syempre, sa early game, ang nagmamatter dito is yung magic defense. Tapos, kapag pinababa mo yun, i-combo mo yun with a lot of magic damage output like your Farsa, your Harith, in the early stages, kaya kayang magtunan nito. At also, yung Brody, na alam natin ay may sources din ng magic damage and physical damage. So it just complements well with the Sylvana. I'm actually surprised that Smart Omega did not even touch that. Kasi kahit ako kung tinitignan pa lang yung lineup dito ng LPE Eagles, kahit yung unang 3 picks pa lang nila, sinasabi na talaga sa akin, ay gusto talaga mag-Sylvana nito at nakalusot siya hanggang dulo. And hopefully, Smart Omega are prepared for this. Now, saya ang isa lang strength na masasabi ko sa composition ng Smart Omega is that it has very good late game at meron silang way para abutin yung late game na yun through the Veil. Ang siguro Delix nandito saya support Veil is sabihin na natin hindi siya gano'n ka-successful. Side lane Veil, yun, nakita natin successful from the past but a support Veil might not work.
It's gonna be a bit tricky here since I think also Smart Omega is opting for a mid-game control dito with the lineup that they have. And yung overall lineup ng ating Eagles is going for the early game aggression. But you know what? We will see if all of these are gonna pan out as we head on to our first game of our lower bracket finals between Smart Omega and LP Eagles because this tournament is under the supervision and regulation of the Games and Amusements Board. So, ayan, we are seeing a similar, actually the most common lineup that we have here. But looks like Eagles is gonna go with a 2-man onto the bottom side. So, still interesting. Gaya nga na sabi natin, no, Omega here will just go basically with the economy. Meanwhile, LPE here, maraming number. Curtizy with the low brink of health still manages to go for a tower hug.
Setup para naman sa Eagles, it's a side lane as we expected na Harith. This is also gonna scale up, makapag-farm to. I believe ang kanilang diskarte is tutulungan siya ni Vimo on this Sylvana na naka-pull yourself together. The best thing about this Sylvana na naka-support emblem, which is you pull yourself together talaga, it means na meron kang ultimate every 45 seconds. If I'm not mistaken, if my math is right. Basta under a minute, makakaroon ka ng ulti. At as you can see right now, mas marami siyang EXP kesa kay Kurt Easy kasi nakamask siya. This is the strength of the side lane supports sa ngayon.
Oh, and they are going to abuse this map, especially this is still a minute into our game. Heath, however, will be spotting out Trick the dog here. So tamang poke lang din siya dito. Dashes outward. Heath, I guess, overextending by a bit. Lowers his health. Uses the flicker. But the first blood, though, is gonna go to Sylvana, taking down Curtizy there. Piniwalay nila si Heath sa ating party para makuha nila itong si Curtizy na basically that's the hero that you don't want to get picked up at this early stage.
Nakikita mo yung yung strength ng side lane support na baka maging threat na nga to kasi sobrang ganda nung nagagawa mo para tulungan yung side laner mo, and a very early turtle 2 minutes in. This means na kapag tinuloy ito ng Eagles dahil nga naman sa changes sa patch natin na mas maaga na ang turtle at meron kang maximum na 4 na turtle na pwedeng makuha. Nako po, if Eagles continue this pace, sobrang lakas sila sa early stages.
And it's going to be a difficult position for Omega to actually catch up, especially kapag hindi nila naagaw or na-secure mga objectives na to. Looking at this though, BMO here very aggressive, hindi siya nag-hesitate gumamit ng kanyang skills. Dahil nga nabanggit mo, with that under a minute cooldown, it's just likely to be as harassing as possible. The speed of harassing Feathered Airstrike is gonna take Hadidi away off the board. Pin down si Ryota, however, is this gonna be a trade? No, actually, not gonna survive that fight. But that was a close call. If he survives that could have been a worthy trade for Eagles.
Oh, tignan mo, si Curtizy is just level 3, barely level 4. Si Bimo level 4 na.
Looking at this, though, the Heart is gonna shove away Curtizy here, not gonna participate into that fight, and Bimo and the gang was able to survive that dito sa ating laban. Heath, however, will be spotting Ars. Ars is gonna use the Phoenix to go away to safety. Muntikan na! Kung hindi ka nagamit yan, that could have been a pick-off for the show.
Now, can see naman na kailangan na talaga umikot ng Smart Omega dito sa may bottom lane and answer Jake the Dog Harith. Pero sobrang taas ng level ng ating Harith. Level 6. And Heath, imagine mo, merong Way of the Dragon as well as the Blazing Duet, pero kulang na kulang yung damage.
Speaking of that, Way of the Dragon is gonna be used onto Bimo, pero natatagalan silang patayin itong si Bimo dito, but still, it's gonna work, get the job done. Feathered Airstrike onto Heath right here, matatamaan ng isa. Not gonna be enough to take him down though, as ours will be going back right now, at least denying this crab take, pero makuha pa rin ni Hajiti.
Look at the positioning of Eagles. They want to make another play at another turtle this time, at tataas yung farm dito kay Aspect. Sabihin na natin, hirap na yung Omega dito kay Jake na Dog. Ako po, mas problema pa dito si Brody, si Aspect.
Capitalizing the objective taking dito ng Eagles because they know they have the upper hand here onto the early game. Because mid-game control ang gusto ng Omega. Pero hindi mangyayari yun as Sylvana is gonna pin down Yelly Haze and has for the kill here. Feathered Airstrike to really defeat out the Curtizy here. Will be going in for the Tower. Will the Dragon to actually deny that fact. And you know what? Kenji here uses the Dragon form to just go and get some damage as possible here. But apat ang kalaban niya dito, no? So kailangan niya mag-ingat dito. Was able to go back, however, and denies this tower take away from Eagles.
I think tutuloy pa rin ito ng Eagles. Wala nang counter third engine shields, but they... Look at this! Jake the Dog, sobrang tapang!
Tapang! So with a low health, Snowvale was able to take down the Harris over here. Very courageous though, as he was able to give amount of time to destroy this turret. And we are now seeing a bit of actually an advantage to the Eagles in terms of objective taking and of course taking turrets as well.
Maneuver ng Eagles, but I wanna say Smart Omega are adjusting accordingly. Siguro nagulat sila dun sa mga first few moves ng Eagles, but the fact of the matter is Eagles are doing what worked from previous series. So yung Omega naman nag-a-adjust accordingly.
And speaking of adjust, Bale here was able to get down Sylvana. Feathered Airstrike though for some trades. He will be using that flicker to go to safety. Kenji, however, is in the vicinity as well, trying to deny any potential engagements from Eagles. This forces them now to back away, which is good kasi it further denied any casualty sa kanilang side. So that was a very good pick-off for the Veil and Omega in general.
Wanna say, yung Smart Omega maganda yung trajectory nila. Lugi sila ngayon sa gold,
Yes.
100%. But I think that they can recover well. Pero yung Eagles, if they keep this pace, lalong-lalo na Gumagawa na naman sila ng move around turtle. As you can see, 2 seconds before the turtle, yung position nila, yung formation ng Eagles ngayon around this area is already good. And I think that they want to control this factor. I think binubuo nila si Kenji. They might make a move on the third turtle of the game.
Hindi nila hinahayaan na mapunta sa Omega tong turtle because it's gonna leave them at a very big advantage once they get hold of this. So, syempre, Smart Omega adjusting perfectly through this and if the steal is gonna happen though, hindi natin nakita kung sino naka-steal, but look at this, regardless, Kenji can go with the way of the dragon, with dragon form as well, but the Harriet still will be taking 2 kills off the board, and this forces Omega back away, and I think if I'm not mistaken, we will be seeing it later. The turtle is in the side of Eagles here.
That is absolutely right. Ang Eagles ang nakakuha ng turtle na yan. At dahil nag-start sila ng 2 minutes and 17 seconds dun sa turtle, yung una nila nakuha. And that means na parang mga 10 to 17 seconds lang yung window since nag-start yung first turtle. Meron tayong, for the first time ever, 4th turtle na makikita. As you can see, nagsuspawn siya sa top lane. This is the recent change sa ating sa patch.
Yes.
With the turtles spawning 2 minutes, you have a maximum of 4 turtles if you're doing it correctly. At syempre, kung may 4 na turtle kang na-control as a team, that means na sobrang taas ng farm mo. In fact, Eagles are leading by 3,000. If we are gonna see the items later, I'm sure na malaki na yung difference, the aspect at the
Oo, yan. And you are really seeing the evident turtle takes dito na ating Eagles. Sila ang lumalamang in terms of economy net at the same time with items as you mentioned. And going here, now they are trading down Yelly Haze right here, and the Harris will be going for the way of the dragon for the trade coming in from Hajizi dito para hindi naman sayang ang kanilang pag-responde, and the purple box gonna be in the hands of Hajizi. We are seeing that the Eagles now are just opening a lot more options in terms of their map control here as they take down the first towers into both the top and the bottom side.
They want to still go this time.
Tapang ni Heath going into 3, but look at the dragon form for the Yuzhong as well. Tries to make it out. The feathered aircraft is gonna be used right here to get Yuzhong away off the board. This is not looking good for Omega right now as Heath low on health. Hindi siya makakapag-responde. So this is going to be a disengagement for Eagles because they just basically want to gain that map control. Tignan mo dito, just utilizing everything that they can, then and also denying it from Omega. This is looking good.
Yep. Now, what happened in there was Omega really fighting kasi alam nila na magkakaroon na nung, yun nga, magpapwesto yung Eagles around those turtle area. The very tricky situation nga lang is naging Lord na yung turtles since nag 9 minutes na. But this also means that the Eagles are so comfortable. Yung kill kay Genji, that is something that Omega should not have given sa Eagles. They cannot give away freebies na at this point.
Cannot give freebies. Look at this. The Brody will be having a lot of those marks into the show. Will be dishing him out of our map, dito. And the Lord has spawned. And I think Eagles is just trying to show away the members of Omega here just for them to get that objective. They would want to have that extra manpower in terms of pushing and as well with the economy and XP. So that is what aspect Hendrik the Dog is eyeing out for. Kita rin lang dito, nakaabang lang si Arms and Ryota here just to basically secure this objective na so far they're really doing a good job at it. We saw that Hajizi uses his ult for vision and of course to attempt the steal, pero syempre the damage is not enough to do so.
This is really tricky now for Omega. Maganda yung kanilang late game composition because they have Claude. And not only that, they also have this so good scaling heroes. And Veil din ay magandang yung scaling niya even as a support. So they do have all the tools that they needed to take this to the late game. Tignan lang natin kung ang Eagles ay hayaan na mangyari yun. You can see now na 5k lang ang gold with natin. The Brody's already 6-5. That's also true with the Harris right now. At in bukod dyan, sobrang yaman nitong si Ryota na hindi napapansin ng Smart Omega. Ryota is 2-1-1, but he also controlled so much of the map at yung mga minions sa may side lanes. Kaya naman napakayaman niya ngayon. This is also the reason kung bakit lamang na lamang ang Eagles when it comes to the gold.
they're also not challenging Demo alone in a 1v1 fight situation dahil alam na nga natin yung gap that Giovanna already has here. So they will be taking down the Lord to deny any push, but they will be getting this little threat na nasa labas dito. And this really has a lot of control na para sa ating Eagles. Feathered Airstrike once more, a little bit of damage para it forces now Omega to stay on their turf, and while doing so they're just getting all of the jungle minions out there to deny that fact. So basically they might be waiting for the incoming minions to arrive, and or they can just spot out 1 or 2 members of Omega before committing a focus.
Vimo.
Oy. Speaking of spot out, Vimo though was able to spot Kenji there. Pero syempre, the best target that you would want to spot out is one of the squishier ones, basically the Yuzhong or the Claude para sa ating Vimo dito, so that they don't really have that as the potentials to free hit anymore, especially when the clash comes in.
I wanna say, ang ganda ng control na ginagawa ng Eagles. Ayan, kasi bukod sa kinukuha nila yung mga big objectives, the macro objectives, say it, Lord, the turrets, the turtle, they are also getting some of the micro objectives, which is kapag lamang na lamang ka na, ay kunin mo yung ibang parts ng jungle ng kalaban mo, which means na ang Omega magsasuffer sila kasi kailangan lang nilang kunin itong mga waves na papapunta sa kanila, at siguro 2 or 3 jungle creeps. GZ is the only one na nakakuha ng buff ngayon. Yung purple kasi kinokontrol ng Eagles because they wanna really give it to Jake the Dog as the Harith. This is deadly kasi dalawa yung may hawak ng purple buff para sa Eagles.
Objective talaga is the name for the Eagles at this point. Kasi kung papansin mo, speaking of control, they're also taking their time here, not really going as aggressive as possible. Maybe waiting for the second Lord to pop up, secure it, and goes for a split push. Pero look at this, Shin will be using the ult to give any vision dito. Information din yan kung saan nakapwesto ang ating Eagles to at least avoid any dangerous areas here. But speaking of, 4 members of Omega are into the middle side. Alam na ngayon ng LPE ito. Let's see how things will go as the Harith here getting their jungles onto their side. Probably gonna show the top one para nga yun, as I mentioned, they will be going in for the push if they are able to get at least so sino man yung gumagala na Omega dito sa kanilang map.
Omega, yan naman yung kailangan nilang gawin. They have to defend. Continuously defend and get to the point na hirap na ang Eagles in the late game. I would say though, hindi naman din ganun kahina ang late game ng Eagles. In fact, they have this Harith. Very good when it comes to scaling. And there's really not much catch on the side of Smart Omega apart from this Way of the Dragon. It's a solid catch, but I would say dahil na he doesn't really care that much. Ang kailangan dito na gawin ng Smart Omega ay bigyan ng farm itong ating Claude. And Claude, ang layo pa na kanyang hahabulin. He still is struggling when it comes to the farm. At ayaw natin na ang Claude natin sa team ay naka-Avarice, which is the support emblem. Tapos hindi ganun kaganda yung item. If you want to go for Avarice, the only way it can work is kung nag-snowball kayo. Late game, wala na masyadong effect.
Speaking of this, Heat though going in alone right here uses the Way of the Dragon, but there is no follow-up damage dahil medyo malayo ang members ng Omega here. But at least it resets the fact of the Lord taking for the side of LPE. Pero looking at this, go for 5 deaths, at least an amount of damage. And Omega being very careful in terms of initiating. Pero Jake the Dog is gonna enter right here. Look at this Ryota though inside of BMI to be used defensively. Harith as well will be taking down Claude away into the map with no casualty on the side of Eagles. So this is good. Nasecure na nila yung Lord, and at the same time the push is gonna happen anytime soon.
You can see the Eagles, yung ginawa nila, shinoff nila yung mid lane. Tapos yung mid lane minions, nandun na, pumabot sa point na kumakatok na sila sa inhibitor. Oh my god, so much damage from the Veil. But yeah, that small movement from the Eagles allowed them to take the Lord. Kasi si Yuzong, naging busy siya para sagutin yung push sa may mid lane. At merong a lot of time na wala siya sa position para mag-defend ng Lord for Omega.
It was a matter of who to get first, and it was a bit of a miss from Omega. But look at this, the Feathered Airstrike and a lot of knockouts coming in. But they Yushin will be taking down the Thumbs right here. Let's see if they will be having another triple kill for the Yushin. Who likes to aim at their BMI though this time. That is gonna be a nice turnaround here for Hajizi. And of course, Claude will be taking one for the cat. That is a wipeout for Omega. A very nice opening for them now to turn the tables around.
Naubos ng Eagles lahat ng inhibitors ng Omega dahil dun sa aggressiveness nila yun. Sinubsob nila yung sarili nila. However, Omega, na-punish talaga sila. We can see in the highlights right now. Napakagandang nakap. Prima nakap coming out from the fail. With the tornado. Siyempre, sobrang taas ang damage output. 16 minutes na. So, makatain na talaga yung fail. It really scales so well. And this is the only time na nakapag-push Smart Omega, and they might end this game. They have ended it. Oh my God.
We were not able to defend it on time right here as Smart Omega will be taking the game number 1 for our lower bracket finals. All they needed was that one good of a knockup from the Veil, at they didn't really give space anymore for them to recuperate, and that was just amazing play for Omega. Basically, yun ang nagpabago ng ating sistema dito sa ating laro.
And Smart Omega, we did say that this team is lamang sila sa experience. And I think that really showed in that last clash. Imagine this, naubos na lahat ng inhibitors ng Smart Omega, nakuha lahat ng Lord. Tatlong turtle, 2 Lord na punta sa Eagles, lamang sila sa gold, naubos na ng inhibitor. Pag ginawa lang ng Eagles, ginamit nila lahat, nag-all in sila sa mid, na-punish sila itong Yelly Haze na Veil. And what a perfect way to actually punish them. Kasi maganda yung 3-man na nakakapos there, it fought 3 members of the Eagles. At mind you, bago mangyari yung push na yun, wala pang toreng napapatumba ang Smart Omega. Smart Omega were struggling all throughout the game, and all they needed was the Eagles to make a mistake na sub nga dun sa may mid lane.
And in terms of the participation talaga dito, Omega really knew how to adjust themselves despite the fact that they were struggling. Hindi sila ang nag-engage ng team fight. They just really waited for Eagles to come into their doorstep. Veil dito really did a perfect timing connecting that knock-up with 3-man na basically sila dapat ang pumipitas sa Omega natin doon sa that big fight kanina. So now looking at this post-game stats, just quick right now, Hajizi really did a lot. But of course, as well as our members of Omega. And dito naman sa Eagles, they were really doing good, getting all of the objectives, getting all of both the macro and the micro plays there, and economy as well. So the thing is, it's just the mistake when they entered. They entered simultaneously as well with the necessary front lines. It's just that yung knock-up talaga ni Yelly Haze ang pabago ng ating laro.
You know what, Eagles, they have been doing a lot well sa lahat ng conditions na mimic nila, all of the things that they wanted, they were able to get. However, Omega, ang kanilang ginawa is relied on their experience, and Yelly Haze knows how to position himself. Nasabi natin na ang Veil ay yung way ng Omega para mag-depend because of the natural kit of this hero. Hindi ganun ka-mobile ang hero na to. In fact, napakadali niyang talunan. But if you position yourself well, at sakto yung pagkakagamit mo ng skills mo, nasushoot mo lahat ng knock-up mo with your skill set. And syempre, meron kang sobrang taas na nuke na AOE pa. At nakita mo kung gano'n siya kalakas man-tunaw. In fact, yung maniac na ng Yisun-Shin, all he had to do was to last hit. Ganun na lang nangyari. We can see, dun sa highlights, paano nga ba nag-dominate ang Eagles and also how they lost that match.
So here we see in the very early stages of the game, the LPE really started really good, containing Curtizy here, denying the scale potentials during that time. So ngayon, dito as well as Ryota and the Farsa combo taking away the Yisun-Shin. Na basically, ang I-expect natin, dapat sila yung they were given some space by their members and whatnot. But looking at this, the way that they are able to adjust sa kung ano man na binabato ng Eagles dito is extremely commendable for Omega.
Sina, Primo just making the space for his team, and if you are just looking at the minimap, lalo na yung movements ng Eagles, napaka-crisp. This is the second turtle. 4 minutes and 30 seconds pa lang. At nakikita na natin na lumalamang yung Eagles paunti-unti. In fact, lumalaki din yung lead ng ating mga cores from the side of the Eagles compared to the cores of Smart Omega. Jake the Dog, many times in this game, nag-stumble din, but that's okay. Now, Eagles, this is the third turtle of the game. At akala ko nga ang Omega yung makaporma na, but if you look at the economy kasi, lugi talaga sa EXP and sa Gold yung Omega. Dun sa clash na yun, kaya dun pa rin sila nangyari.
And just looking here, Omega just getting a bit of kills on their own to at least go and take as much as they can. Here, we see that Kenji uses the Dragon 4 pero makukontay nga siya ni Dino dito alongside with another Air Strike. And that basically controlled the top side in the hands of Eagles. Here, we have basically Bimo just giving some space for his team at that point.
And everything that Eagles managed to, they also planned this well. I think yun yung nangyari na talagang nag-go back to the drawing board ng Eagles. And this final clash, we can see, di na nila kailangan talaga mag-dive. But they kind of did. And unfortunately, for their own sake, nangyari. I mean, Aspect as well as Arms, pwede na silang mag-back off nitong mga moments ito, but they didn't. And I think masyadong naging anxious ang Eagles. And look at this, one cannon to rule them all. Side of Omega, one last push. MVP of the match is Hadjizi, but I would say the Veil is the one. Si Yeli Hayes talaga ang he allowed the East and Shin to be like this.
Yes.
Baga.
Of course, with a good carry comes a great support. And of course, again, MVP of the game nonetheless is gonna be Hadjizi here with 5-4 kill participation of 90%, hero damage of 60k. That was heavily evident during that last clash. Hurt damage of 11,000. Dahil nga naman wala silang na-push all throughout nung early phases of the game, they only had to push mid to go all the way. And of course, the damage taken was 17k. Dahil, although they were struggling in terms of the early to mid, the fact na hindi din sila na-pick off as much is also one thing to consider because they adjusted pretty well.
Yes, I think I'll agree with you. I think Hadjizi played well this game. Hindi lumaki yung lamang ni Aspect for sure over Hadjizi and the rest of the Eagles. But that's only because of the fact na mas maganda yung movements ng Eagles compared to Omega. Pero you gotta have to give it to Hadjizi. Hindi siya namatay ng maraming beses kahit pa nagsastruggle yun. So that's definitely a plus for Omega.
But you know what? All of these shakeups is gonna be a lot more interesting once we head on to game number 2. Masasecure na kaya ng ating Smart Omega ang kanilang slot para makalaban ng Bren? Or will LPE force a game number 3? Let's see what happens, guys. We will be heading on to a short break. My name's Seth, with me is Wolf. Don't go away. Muli, nababalik tayo sa the Nationals 2020 MLBB Conference, the playoffs presented by Smart 5G. And we are your casters for this lower bracket finals. My name is Saya, and with me is Wolf. So, kanina natunghayan natin ang great turnaround ng ating Smart Omega with that awesome clash there into their base din, diba? So, let's see how things are gonna pan out for our game number 2, Wolf. Let's just see their most picks dito sa ating league.
I honestly can't get over game number 1, Saya. I honestly can't get over game number 1. Nagulat ako. I was also looking at the highlights and definitely a lot of mistakes for side of the Eagles dun sa huli. Pero alam mo yun, parang kahit anong mangyari, hindi natin pwedeng tanggalin yung mga gandang ginawa nila sa early stage. Then again, let's talk about this. Parsa and Ling, the important flavors of the first phase, so lalo na sa group stages natin. But also, Tam, Scalid, and Lancelot. Sabihin na natin mga solid na pickups. Parang can never really go wrong with these picks before the patch. Diba? Lancelot now is on a different realm. Kasi, pero yung Khalid and Tams, for sure, maaabangan nyo pa yan sa buong series.
Still gonna be a valid pick. I agree with you on this one. And basically, Lancelot is used these amount of times kasi siya yung nagiging sub pag nababan si Ling or pag napipili ng kalaban itong Ling. So basically, that's the trend for our group stages. And of course, the ban rate, of course, is gonna be the triple B here with the Barad, Pinatata, and Brody, alongside with the Jonghead na nakita naman natin na talagang na naging annoyance, and especially sa ejectors niya, and with the Selena as well, na nakita natin na with the arrows on point and connected, it's gonna be a very difficult spot for you, especially if you're the one getting caught by it.
Let's say, Brody, Benedetta might not be picked dito sa ating series only because baban talaga siya naman. I don't think that any team will actually consider letting go of the Benedetta. Probably siya na yung sabihin na natin walang sagot na hero as of this moment. Well, both teams definitely meron silang parehas na Benedetta players. I think yung Brody naman ay isang hero na ibibigay ito ng parehas sa team. Pero, kasi naman, dahil dun sa mga changes natin, may mga sagot na ang team. Kaya na nilang i-counter. I think yung Johet is one hero that will not see the light of day. Now, yung Barats, although I did say no start ng Nationals na yung malakas sa meta natin, which is Benedetta, Brody, and Barats. Barats yung pinaka na-nerf sa lahat.
Yes.
Sobrang massive na nerf to the point na baka nga hindi na siya pansinin buong playoffs natin. We might not see it picked or banned. Ganun kalala yung nerf sa Barats.
Medyo masakit talaga ang na-inflict na nerf sa ating Barats. But you know what? Let's head on agad-agad sa ating game number 2 of our lower bracket finals between Eagles as our blue side and Smart Omega into the red. And of course, the usual bans are gonna be up in play. Similar to game number 1, Selena and the Jawhead is not gonna be in play. Pretty sure the Benedetta is also gonna be banned here for either sides para hindi din nila magamit. Kasi we do see walang concrete. Ayan, walang concrete na sagot for Benedetta so far since she is one of the recent heroes that we have right now. So Forza, not gonna be in play here. Ayaw ibigay.
Selena is a hero na you'll never really give it to Smart Omega because of how strong they are with it. Also, Benedetta, as we can see, is already banned out. I think Omega, they might be giving away yung parehas na Khalid and Brody. Tapos abangan nila kung paano mag-react ng Eagles. Will Eagles actually first pick the Brody? Or will they first pick something like Khalid? I'm actually leaning more towards the Khalid pick ng Eagles. Kasi mas sanay sila dun sa heroes na yun. Hero na yun.
You would want to pick a hero na talagang mas mataas ang chance mo manalo. And Eagles utilizing the Khalid here is one of the factors that they have as well. So Esmeralda is gonna be banned here for Eagles. Syempre nga naman, other than the Benedetta and you don't want to give this Esmeralda then to Omega, seeing it how they use this very well into our team.
Esmeralda, hero na priority ng Eagles, but not only that, also make okay.
Oy, nice.
I thought that they will give both the Khalid and Brody, but Omega's just straight up banned out the Khalid. As we mentioned in game number 1, ito yung isa sa mga comfortable picks ng Eagles dahil ang daming nagagawa ni Bimo with this hero as a tank. Tapos kung sakali man ay first pick nila yung Khalid at nag-decide sila na ilagay sa side lanes itong Khalid, they can also do so. Ryota plays a good Khalid as well. And this is a hero that might not be picked up in the series by the Eagles. Ngayon naman, yung Eagles, sila mismo yung first set of bans na lapu-lapu from yesterday. And every chance that they get, they pick this up. And it kind of feels like sobrang taas ng priority ng Eagles with this hero, the lapu-lapu.
I really want to make this lapu-lapu work for the side of the but looking at the choice of Smart Omega, this is the advantage of having a wide variety of heroes. You can really play it really well with the Claude here. Mapupunta sa kanila and as well as the show. So they don't want to, they want to basically have a slight repeat of what happened to game number 1. Pero this time, not really having the same amount of struggle.
Kasi yung Harif ay isang hero na baka nga talaga mapik na Eagles all throughout. Omega, if we ever get to a game number 2, this is gonna be off of this hero. And Luyi, snatched by the Eagles. Gusto ko yung ideology ng Eagles dito. Secure nila agad yung magandang wave clear. One of the solid mages out there. At napakaganda ng playmaking potential with the ultimate, the diversion. And also, Eagles have used this before. The arms, makikita natin kung gano'n niya gagamitin itong Luyi. For Smart Omega, they might be securing another fail game ngayon, or at least yung hero composition na mas leaning sa late game.
Because that is basically what Omega is also good at. Hindi lang sila, they're not just good in the early game, but also the control that they have and the survivability that they possess is also good, especially with the right heroes that they mix. And of course, they will be thinking, this Tams right here, very solid offlaner as well. And I think this is also a strat that the Eagles can also really is using the Tamas as well. Then, so this is going to be the second phase ng ating plan. And ang kinakailangan pa ng ating Eagles is a core and tank.
One thing na kailangan nating tingnan sa Smart Omega is they don't have the best mages na. Pero kasi naman, ang Omega, kaya nila maglaro ng counter. Haze is a type of player na bibigay mo lahat. And I like this. Reaction mula sa Smart Omega getting the ban on that Sylvana. It will be perfect once again para sa Eagles. Pero kinuha nila yon. And now, it's gonna be difficult for the Eagles to decide. What are they going to give to Bimo at this point?
Taking away the Natalia as well. Don't want any back or any backline, especially with this squad. Because in any team fight, you would want to play squad first at the back end before going in with the BMI. So ayaw nilang makita sa Natalia if ever they will be choosing this up. But for now, yeah, as you mentioned, medyo it's going to be a challenge for Eagles to actually choose the appropriate or the fit para sa kanilang setup since the Sylvana was taken away from them. A little quicker, but depends on which core are they going to do.
So, Talia is a hero na nagulat ako that Eagles are putting a lot of emphasis against Omega, but not so much. You know what? Other teams would straight up abandon Natalia. Pero sila na about sa dulo. Clear. I like it. A good reaction from the Eagles. They are forcing Omega to the point na mag-Kagura sila or heroes that really don't stop this Lapu-Lapu as well as this Harit. They might still go for something like Veil, honestly. Or isang wave clear hero like Chang'e. Lunox is decent. But I would say, ang Smart Omega, ang trend nila talaga kay Haze is maghanap ka ng hero na malakas talaga yung long range na wave clear. Yeah, something like Chang'e. Kagura could also be picked up by Smart Omega.
Or
Heroes
they might
that
get another cheesy pick.
Yeah, I will lose my mind kung biglang nagtigi ang Eagles, honestly. Pero I don't think that they will. So it's similar as before. They will last pick something like Chang'e or Veil para sa Omega. Eagles naman, I don't think that they can still go Hilda. Ang siguro best choice nila at this point is something like Akai or something like a Hylos.
Could be. That also really helps them with the mobility as well.
Beleric?
But I make this Roger.
I think they're better off with something like Lancelot, honestly, for Eagles. Okay, kesa sa Roger. Although, they might be comfortable with it. We don't really know.
Yeah. In paper, though, it could be a better for a Lancelot here. It also really helps, especially pag nahuli. Itong Lancelot.
Ooh.
Silver! Long time no see!
So, if you're looking at the heroes of Smart Omega, lahat sila ay may dashes. That is the BMI. That is the literally all of the skills of the Cho. Tapos meron siyang talon din, the Chasm Leap. Yisun Shin is also considered as one of those heroes that rely on those mobility tools. It's perfect for the Mincetar. I always feel, however, na ang teams ay nabebait sa point na, ay, mag-Mincetar tayo, madaming dash yung kalaban. I don't know if this is this game. One thing is for sure, this Roger is gonna be good against the Yisun Shin, and just as we expected, 100% a fail for Smart Omega. At kung napapansin mo, masaya si Coach Dale, Smart Omega, and I gotta share his sentiments. Bakit yung mga heroes, yung hero composition dito, particularly ng Eagles, gusto nilang tumalon, gusto nilang lumapit. Melee-based sila in a way. Roger will jump with the Lycan Pounce. Harith, mid-range kasi, hindi pala mid-range lang talaga siya. And also have the Minsitar. Everybody, lapu-lapu is melee. Napakadaling game na to para sa isang fail. And this is a really big, sabihin natin, sleep up coming out from the drafting ng Eagles. They gonna see it coming from a mile away. Mag-fail talaga to. Ginawa na nila ng game 1 and they have repeated in game number 2. This time, game number 1, say maganda yung composition na makikita natin mula sa side ng Eagles against the fail. Pero natalo pa rin sila. This time, it's worse. And I feel that Smart Omega are really comfortable with this. Okay,
The
with this
fact
game.
that, during game number 1 nga, yun nga, nabanggit mo, despite that the draft advantage with Eagles have on against the Veil, they managed to work it out, adjusting with every blow that Eagles will really give against Omega. But ngayon, yeah, I agree with you. It's gonna work all the more for Omega here.
Yes.
Kasi, basically, yung draft ng Omega from game number 1, you don't really have to change it a lot. Maybe just a few tweaks to just to lessen the struggles that they have during the early game and the mid game. Yun lang naman yung kailangan nilang gawin dito for game number 2 for them to really get that point. But let's see how things are gonna pan out for both of our teams dito.
Yeah. I want to say para naman sa side ng for all the sake of side of Eagles, meron pa rin naman silang win conditions. In fact, they have several win conditions over the Smart Omega squad. First is to dominate the early game. At para mag-dominate sila ng early game, kailangan mag-pop off ng kanilang mga heroes, particularly this Roger Louie Minsitar combo. Now, it also relies on their side lanes. I want to say, if Lapu-Lapu wins his lane, that's gonna be great. And Jake the Dog obviously will win his lane because that's the nature of the Harry. Mananalo yan.
Yes.
If the tempo is gonna favor Eagles, kung tuloy-tuloy lang, kumbaga, yung pag-ariba ng Eagles dito, they can really win this in the early stages. However, I would say it is definitely harder, more difficult compared to game number 1.
Of course, and this is going to be the game number 2 of our lower bracket finals between Smart Omega and LP Eagles, having a similar composition here in terms of laning during game number 1. But this time, I guess Smart Omega here is not going to be on the aggressive side. And yeah, both of our teams is focused on getting resources as much as possible before actually going in and participate in a skirmish fight.
We can see that yung Omega, 4 na members dun sa middle at a certain point. That's how they want to prioritize yung farm ng ating target. However, this is not good news at all para sa Eagles. Ryota being forced out of the lane by the Thams. At alam naman natin na Thams ay malakas talaga sa... Oh, what a nice dodge from Jake the Dog.
That is gonna be a knockup from Heat right there, but there is not going to be any follow-up damage just yet. It doesn't pa lang naman siya. So he's gonna pop off when those are already on set. But look, here are those gonna be cornered by 2 members, and that's gonna be a first blood for Omega here, taking away the duo.
I don't want that to happen. Sobrang dami nilang binibigay kay Kenji on this Thams at this point. Aspect and Bimo almost caught 1 member sa may bottom lane. Sa unang level 4 ni Aspect. However, it's not enough. Wasn't enough.
This time it is a different feat in comparison with game number 1. The Smart Omega is the one having at least this turtle advantage. As you can see, as the Thams are there making their way. Lapu-Lapu though, and Aspect is on the way, but the turtle will be secured by Isun. They don't necessarily have to engage in fights yet, since objectives are one of the priorities talaga ng Omega bago sila makipag-backpack.
That was actually a super solid move mula sa Smart Omega. Bakit? Kasi alam nila na kumalaw yung Eagles sa may bottom lane. And siguro yung naging problem ng Eagles is they decided to move to the bottom lane instead of the top lane. Kaya naman, yung Omega nakapag-establish ng magandang formation around the turtle. And kahit ni Kenji at ni Curtis, the Claude, the Hadjizi, the Yisun Chin, alam nila na nasa bottom lane ni most of the members. Initiate din naman si Bimo dun sa may mid. Kaya free pass sila dun sa pag-take ng turtle. And that's a lot of gold in their favor. Now, since kinomit nila yung Contrat Inferno as well as the Yisun Chin ultimate, sobrang bilis lang nila na-take yung turtle dun sa may top lane. Na that's also alleviated some pressure dun sa Claude. In fact, Curtizi farming well. Alam mo na maganda yung resulta sa isang Claude kapag 3 minutes ay level 5 na siya.
Yes.
Tapos nakakapag-clear na siya ng Wave using the Blazing Duet is so comfortable ngayon and sobrang kabaliktaran yung nangyayari sa game number 2 ng Omega.
In comparison, no, with game number 1, this time around, Smart Omega is the one to take the case. By that, I mean that, taking advantage of lesser people and LPE onto the turtle side kanina, as you mentioned. And of course, this one, sila not necessarily going in aggressively. Hinihintay nila na pumasok yung LPE. That's the time they will go for that counter engage. And tinan mo to, both of the teams already eyeing out for the second turtle. LPE does not want to repeat what happened during the first turtle take. Ayaw na nila this time pabayaan yung turtle kasi nakita naman nila kung gaano kalamang ang mangyayari if all of these turtle takes will gonna be in the hands of Smart Omega right now. So ngayon, tama ang ginagawa nila dito, not being too overextending then as well. The turtle is spawned, Cho and the Claude is in the vicinity as well as Ethan Shin and the Veil, which probably will take advantage of this again in terms of numbers.
Very early second turtle as we can see. 4 minutes 17 seconds at capitalize yata ito ng Eagles but they actually fight this
Oh, they will be. Look at this. The ult coming in from the East is gonna be with the Dragon. Gagamitin dito kay Aztec. It's a nice priority target, but the Heart will be taking down the Cho here in return. So, but the Turtle still secured for Eason Shin. So, basically, that's a good trade, but in terms of objectives, Omega had the upper hand. So, it was worth it.
I think worth it para na death para kay Heath. It allowed GC to be farmed. I mean, obviously, you don't want to give free gold to your opponents, pero yung fact na yung turtle ay napunta sa Omega, particularly sa jungler ng Smart Omega, which is the Yisun Chin, 100% sure that Omega are happy with this trade and Courtesy will be able to defend bottom lane. And I'm sure na si Heath ay naghanap ng angulo.
Bimo is going into that tower there, but the man just to say, but look at the damage that was inflicted onto Ars. Veil, though, will be taking down the Luoyi, and they are gonna go aggressively this time. BMI gagamitin dito as Curtizi low on health, but still manages to dash away. So Bimo was knocked up. Let's see, Heat is on the chase. Hahabulin niya ba si Bimo dito? Actually, no. Just gonna go for the torch instead. Or Jake the Dog could work as well. Alright, 4 members of SMO is already inside here. But Lapu-Lapu will be taking that tower onto the top side. But the trade onto bottom is just surreal here for Omega as they take a kill and a turret.
Oh, sobrang ganda para sa Omega. In bottom lane, nung nakakuha nga sila ng magandang alley-oop coming out with the Way of the Dragon, comboed it up with the set of the Veil. Kasi yung skill ni Veil, it takes a lot of time bago siya mag-accumulate. Pero pag tumama siya, sobrang sakit. Nakita mo naman yung damage kay Arms. And then, meron siyang Magic Worship ngayon, which also allowed them to deal extra damage over time. At natunaw din talaga si Louis. Now, they also were aggressive. Again, with a nice positioning, nakaharap naman ng bonus skill para dun sa Yisun Chin. And all they had to do was to always force this King's Calling. Ito yung number 1 weakness ng Minsitar. Kapag hindi mo nagamit yung ultimate para makakuha ng kill or at least na-force out siya ng kalaban mo, this is useless. Sobrang anchor ng Minsitar kapag hindi tama yung pagkaagamit mo. And I would say that Timo might not be as experienced with this hero. Kasi nga naman, hindi natin madalas na nakikita.
Uy! Look at that, the color of the down away to travel on Triota was able to escape
Oh,
the
wow.
Will be having that kill taking so off the board and two getting the turtle here. Will be having that Roger. That's a double kill for the Harriet here, abusing the position of the Sport Omega here and the low health as well. And the trade is gonna happen though as Houston and Veil will be taking a true casualty them for the side of Eagles. So this is good. May certain amount of trade that Jake the Dog has, but the fact that Smart Omega still has the control over the map is still viable for them.
Napakagandang ginawa sana ng Eagles. Particularly Jake the Dog dancing over Smart Omega unchecked. Napakaganda ng timing niya at napakayaman na rin niya ngayon. Well, technically speaking, hindi siya ganun kayaman but meron nga kasi siyang mystery shop. As you can see now, as Jake the Dog managed to hold his ground, alam niya kasing wala makapigil sa kanya once the Way of the Dragon is already out. Since ginamit na ng Smart Omega yon ng mas maaga, alam niya na free dancing na nga siya. However, natalo pa rin sila sa clash na yon just because of the trade-off that SMO did. I mean, maganda yung ginawa ni Jake the Dog but it wasn't enough. But they kind of need more. If Eagles still want to force the game number 3, they have to do something like that once again. Yung pagkakaroon ng positive trade. Kaya nga lang, Smart Omega, hindi ito yung klase ng team na kapag ginawa mo sa kanila yung first time ay magagawa mo ulit.
nga, magagawa ulit. Kasi sila naman ang gagawa ng sayo. Which is what we see right now. Since Smart Omega is the one being aggressive for this time around. You know what, they're really taking their time killing off Kenji here and just go in and taking down Jake. So again, this is going to be a good push now for Omega since the numbers are in their favor. Magta-tower hug si Aztec and Ryota here but mahuli lang sila dito. That could be another casualty for them. So this is a nice call for Omega to just disengage and you know what, let's just wait since the Lord is going to be spawned right here and that is one of the priority right now.
That particular move na ginawa ng Omega, yun talaga yung makikita natin na gap when it comes to experience. Jake the Dog is a marvelous player. Siya siyang napakalupit na player and he knows his limits. Pero sobrang minama siya ng Smart Omega. Nakita mo yung ginawa ni Kenji. Talagang nag-stay siya dun. Binate niya si Jake the Dog to the point na mukhang mamamatay na siya. Nasaktong-sakto, nung malapit na nga siya mamatay at meron ng chance na may go signal na yung Smart Omega pagkatapos ng Zaman Force, that is when they struck Jake the Dog at sobrang pinunish nila. They also know na walang purify si Jake the Dog kaya naman namama nila doon. That was really the gap of experience.
Baiting at the Lord side right here as they will be taking down members first of LPE before taking the Lord as SMO is off the board. So a lot more. Mapitin out the arms. That's gonna be a kill for instance this time around. A lot of kills ang nabigay dito. Nabigyan din ng malaking space si Hajizi. And of course, this is a free Lord now for Omega. This is a good call. Kasi kung kanina, they had the opportunity to take the Lord. But you know what they said? Just take off two members of before we get this. Kasi scared na yun eh. Alam na nila yun. And Harris has not, wala siyang magagawa at that point since numbers matter and the damage is also going to be seen if ever nahuli ni Hajizi yun si Harris, if ever nag-commit siya.
This is already Smart Omega getting all of the win conditions that they have. Nice reaction coming out from Ryota para hindi ma-combo doon ni Ellie Hayes. But nevertheless, Omega, nakukuha na nila lahat ng win conditions nila, which is to farm. And dahil sobrang taas ng farm nila at this point in game, 10 minutes pa lang, they will just really snowball over the Eagles right now. Sabihin na natin hindi pa nila matatapos yung laban at this point sa first Lord. But the second Lord, kung saan may talon na yung Lord, doon na sila mayayari. It's fine, coming out from B.
But look at this though, Kenji is so crunchy at this point na nahihirapan na rin ang LPE na i-take shot. It was a 3 versus 6, I'm not mistaken here, but tinan mo to. Smart Omega is the one knocking on their doorstep this time around. Ult is gonna be to deplete some health, forces now the Eagles to back away. And this is an opening now for Omega to get as much towers as they can get, which is a good call kasi hindi pa sila umaatake eh. But the fact that they're just utilizing their skills first, actually reserving it for a later clash is also good.
And the push from Omega. They know that they have the strength.
They know that they have the strength here, but they want that insurance policy here as they don't want any tower advantage. And look at this, BMI 2P used defensively, but that's okay because the cooldown is gonna go in anyway. So, hintayin lang muli nila to na magkaroon ng ult both Kenji and Kurtizi here. So, this time map control naman muna. And I like it how Smart Omega is being patient. Hindi nila minamadali. They know that they have the winning conditions for them are met. And they know that the control is in their hands. So they just basically have to wait for a good opening for them to really finish this off.
I think Omega are just baiting Eagles at this point. Inaayaan nilang gamitin yung mga Kings calling all of those important cooldowns from the Eagles and they take it out. And as we are seeing right now, laki ng gap when it comes to the course. 8.7k dun sa Claude, 9.6k dun sa ating Yi and Chin. If you're looking at the course of the Eagles, Rogers at 7k, ang item pa lang, kaya practically speaking, with Talker pa lang yan. At kay Jake the Dog, it's 6.3k. And meron siya tatlong items though because of the fact meron siyang mystery shop. However, Smart Omega, absolutely, they have the better artillery. In fact, lamang sila ng 12,000 over Eagles at this point. And all they have to do is, honestly, just wait. Pwede silang sumubsob dito sa may mid-lane, but knowing Omega, they will just wait for the second Lord. If not, able to punish Eagles.
The amount of damage that Yeli Hayes just inflicted upon Jake the Dog really forced him to go back. At yun na, that also secured them another tower take here for the side of Omega. Butas na ang base ng ating Eagles dito. And the only resources that they can get here are the incoming minions because of basically sila naman ngayon ang naiipit sa kanilang pwesto. And probably they're just gonna wait for this Lord. Secure it and go for that split push kasi the more they would want to really abuse that fact here. And yun nga, gaya na sabi mo, hinihintay lang talaga nila na ma-bait out ang mga members ng Eagles dito in using their skills kasi the ones that they are able to at sila hindi pa sila nakakagamit ng skills ng kanila, that is just an easy entry for them.
Next na gagawin ng Omega, just to shove the waves. And this is what Eagles did actually in the first game. Oh, this is massive. Where are they going? Wala nga na sila nahuli, sayang. The diversion play that they are trying to do right now really failed, but it's in the step of the right direction for sure. Kung sila doon, that would be amazing. But Smart Omega, them being a team na marunong team at Dewey, alam nila yung mga pwedeng gawin dito na LPE, BMO, and Aspect. This is bad!
Oh no, Bimo was knocked out by there, and of course, looking at this, though, was able to survive with a low brink of health. So now they were able to secure the Lord, and they're just gonna wait for it. Actually, mukhang hindi na nga nila hintayin dito at this point. They're taking down the tower below, and then just go in for any potential mistakes that Eagles can happen. And yeah, you did mention that diversion could have worked well if may nahuli sila. But look at this, knock up once more. Again, by the show, just backs away, waiting for the Lord. They are waiting for the Lord here to secure this base.
Are forced to use the flicker. This is bad. Eagles, ang dami nila na-burn na kanilang mga ultimate.
Oh, we have the dragon here, and that's gonna be a kill for the usage kit. But this is waiting for 3 though. Will be having that turret damage, and hiwalay sila dito, but the Claw is gonna get a double kill here, and it looks like this is gonna be a game for Smart Omega as they will be controlling this one. And game number 2 goes to Smart Omega, proceeding to the final.
And Smart Omega, I would say ginamit nila lahat talaga ng advantage nila over LP Eagles, particularly sa outside of the game na factors. Like the experience is much better. I like the fact that the Eagles are still cheerful or graceful with their defeat. Pero yung Smart Omega kasi ang ginawa nila sa Eagles, talagang ginamit nila yung lamang nilang knowledge over them. So una sa lahat, I would say that it's definitely difficult to recover from that kind of loss para sa mas masakit matalo ng panalong-panalo ka na. Lalong-lalo na the way Eagles were defeated in game number 1. And
Yes.
I would say na nag-reflect sa game number 2 yung mga reaction ng Eagles with that loss. Una sa lahat, naging reactive sila when it comes to the draft. They picked up this Louis third and it kinda put them in a spot where hindi sila nakasecure na kanilang magandang funnel, carry, at tank. Kasi nga yung choices nila of picks ay sobrang reactive dun sa Omega. And Omega literally just changed one hero instead of anything. And instead of the Yuzong, I think, nag-thumbs lang sila and all the other 4 heroes are the same. And unfortunately, yung Eagles, wala silang Sylvana or Farsa in this particular game. And Omega literally just took this game, won the draft, tapos yung mismong game number 2 na outclass din nila yung Eagles dahil yung Eagles ay nagre-recover pa rin. They are still licking their wounds. And unfortunately, Smart Omega is not a team that you can recover against. This team knows your weaknesses. May nakikita yung weakness namin nila na na-abuse nila yan.
The moment that they see any amount of vulnerability, it already started, as you said, doon sa draft deck. They were in a reactive state to that, and the way that they executed their plays doon sa ating game number 2, kung papansinin mo, they were just being taken down one by one, and until the clashes were met, hindi sapat yung overall lineup nila at least turn the tides around. But you know what? That still, it was a good job for LPE for reaching this far, and the fact that Smart Omega really proves that they are one of the best here sa ating league is just really also a step for them again, mamukhang it's another Bren versus Smart Omega fight here.
Yeah, I think that most of the analysts, including me naman, ay nag-expect na magkakaroon talaga ng match ng SMO versus Renny Pro. And it's just fitting kasi this is the year of, sabihin na nating fair rivalry. It started last year for sure. It was the Nationals Grand Finals rematch once again from Season 1. And this time, hindi lang naman ito yung tournament na nagharap itong dalawang. At makikita natin sa highlights paano nga ba nanalo ang Smart Omega with a masterclass of the double core setup.
This is your usual Omega recipe, if you would say. And looking at the starting it off, although the Harriet was able to get some highlights here, but the fact that SMO just really took advantage of the numbers of LPE, like firstly taking the turtle, and then second onto the bottom side. Dito, we are seeing numbers matter here. 4 members of Omega was not able to get Jake the Dog, however, but it was enough to pin down BMO here. And dito naman sa side ng ating turtle, a little bit messy here where the Dragon Ryoto was able to survive into that fight as Harriet will be taking away Cho. Pero ito na, nangyari yung pagbabalik na dito as Claude will be taking a kill of his own over here. Ayan o. See, goes for the knockup. Isun Shin rather will be having that, and as well as the fail.
Yeah, that is a problem with the Lamp Eagles. Ito yung sinabi kong na mama talaga yung Omega. This is the experience gap. Jake the Dog, ano chance na makuha si Kenji, pero tignan mo yung pag-convert siya. Saktong-sakto, pag wala ng Zaman Force, nag-in na yung mga members ng Smart Omega because they know exactly that that's the weakness of the Harriet. Zaman Force is nothing. Nakita natin yung Omega na continuously na lang ay pinapunish yung mga movements ng Eagles.
The way they wait first into getting 2 or 3 members of Eagles before getting the objectives is one of the key factors din ng Omega. Alam nila kung kailan nila ito-place to and when they can dictate the fights. Here, they managed to separate the course from the frontliners at this point, and they basically close off this game.
Masterclass talaga, masabi natin. NG, 0 kills, 0 deaths. 9
Tunay na support. Tunay na support.
Tunay na support. Pero actually, Kenji's playing as a side here. But yeah, he really helped his team shove the waves, that taking care of himself. By the way, yung fact na nanalo siya kay Lapu-Lapu, that is also very important because not all FAMS players can win against Lapu-Lapu. Parang ano yun even yun aganda ng galawan. But he managed to really limit Ryota dun sa may top lane. So dun sa laning stage na meron sila, nung bakbakan nila dun sa may top lane, sobrang crucial na nanalo si Kenji ng sobra-sobra over his lane matchup. It actually allowed him to help Isun Shin take the first turtle and hindi na gumawa ng pagkakamali si Kenji afterwards. Lalong-lalo na dun sa pag-outplay nila kay Jake the Dog, the Harriet sa may bottom lane. That is really amazing. Kenji, as we say, the clutch time Kenji, is showing up in this series.
Of course, the results for today is going to be a 2-0. Omega getting that sweep against Eagles here. And of course, ang ating susunod na laban, ang pinaka-hinihintay nating lahat, ang ating rematch between Bren E-Pro and a Smart Omega, guys. So wag niyong palalampasin ito because this is where we get to see who is the champion for the Nationals MLBB Conference Playoffs.
Eagles finishing 3rd place, and I'm sure that they are so proud of this. Not everybody expected them to be top 3. And in fact, Eagles, this is their first big tournament. Eagles ay na-form lang out of the auditions that Panda and the rest of the management did. And this is the first tournament for 3 of their players. I think Jake the Dog already tried for another big tournament na nag-qualify lang siya, but he didn't make it there. So technically speaking, these are 4 rookies for the big scene, and only Bima's the veteran. Nobody expected them to perform this well, but they did, and they looked wonderful. They had a straight up chance to make it to the grand finals, but it is what it is. Congratulations para sa Omega, but also congratulations sa STI Olympians at sa Eagles for making it this far.
Oh, at ayun na nga guys, matutunghayan nyo na ang ating finals here for the Nationals MLBB Conference Playoffs between Bren ePro and Smart Omega. We will be right back later at 5:30 p.m. So wag na wag kayong alis dyan. Wag nyo papalampasin to. This is it. Okay, for the lower bracket finals guys, we have been your casters. My name is Saya and with me is Wolf. Don't go away. The Nationals will be right back.